Let's start with the PBOC. They held as expected, but we've heard a lot coming from Peng Gongsheng, of course, over the last 24 hours or so, speaking at this financial forum in Shanghai. What do you make of his comments in terms of shedding some light on interest rate reform and also the bond trading in the market?
Thanks for having me. As you said, Governor Peng Gongsheng gave a speech yesterday at Lujiazui Financial Forum. I think it's quite important. He was talking about two things. One is about the current stance of a monetary policy in China, making it clear that even though you're seeing pretty clear deceleration of money and credit data, that's in fact, in his view, that's increasing the monetary policy transmission. So that shouldn't be taken as a sign of a monetary policy tightening. He described monetary policy stance as supportive. So that's point number one he was trying to convey. Point number two is what you are describing, monetary policy framework. He offered a few thoughts on how he envisioned Chinese monetary policy framework evolve, in the coming quarters and years. One of which is that in the old times or previously, Chinese monetary policy has a lot of quantity-driven metrics and a lot of price-driven metrics. And he's talking about maybe we should just have one policy rate at the front end. That would be more in line with the other central banks having a policy rate and de-emphasizing quantity-based measures like credit growth or money supply. So I think that's quite important. And lastly, you mentioned this PBOC's discussion about potentially buying and selling CGBs, central government bonds, as one of the instruments they could have to manage liquidity and to manage interest rates.
Yes, so just to clarify on the interest rate policy reform, does this mean that we may not be speaking about the MLF rate in the future?
There has been discussions about MLF, whether to de-emphasize that interest rate. If you look at the data, the MLF rate at 2.5% is a lot higher than other one-year interest rate you observe in the Chinese market. So how to think about having that MLF rate, what kind of role it is playing in the monetary policy framework, and given the so many different kind of interest rates managed by the PBOC, I think it's possible that they are going to de-emphasize MLF going forward.